A lot of my recent work has to do with trying to make images that can make you aware of how you look rather than what you're looking at. And this new body of work pushes that a bit further. And I wanted to make paintings that could make you look at them in a very specific way, that sort of forced you in a way to stare at them. And so the landscape images were really used to draw your eye to a specific depth in the painting, so that as you looked at them, an image seemed to appear either really far away in space or right in the middle of the painting, like vertigo, which draws your eye straight into a kind of middle ground or a valley. Other ones, like barriers, keep you very close to the foreground, and it's quite hard to look past the trees. And at the same time, the surface of the painting itself also draws your eye. So the small brush marks over a large area, they sort of change color. Some are shiny, some are matte. So they sort of function to occupy and distract your eye in another way. And so you end up constantly moving between that material surface and then the image or the picture that sort of appears somewhere inside the painting itself. And your focus shifts between that sort of depth and the surface again. So this sort of way of looking is what I was calling staring, because it kind of suspends you in a cyclical eye movement indefinitely. So you sort of look and then look past and then look again and look past. And by doing that, you sort of create this space and this time to become aware of how you're looking. Just notice the way you're looking at the painting. So the works on the second floor also play with trying to trigger a kind of awareness, but they function a bit differently and try to work on the eye itself. So the paintings are quite lightly painted with an almost sort of monochrome palette, and the eye ends up needing to strain or squint, sort of make an effort to focus and see and distinguish different areas in the painting. So the idea is that as the eye sort of makes that effort, it becomes aware of what it's doing. So it becomes aware of this effort to see, and also actually realizes the conditions that it's seeing in. So the background light in the room actually becomes noticeable because it's sort of affecting how you're looking. All these paintings have a strong relationship to photography as well, and I'm really interested in trying to sort of slide painting in somewhere between the experience of a sort of real view and the kind of photographic trace of that. So they're quite fragile images. They're unfixed, unlike the photograph, and they can disappear if you look away or sort of get distracted by some fragment within the painting itself. If you move too close or too far, it changes. And I'm interested in creating this kind of tenuous image, because the image itself then becomes quite dependent on the conditions in which it's seen. So those background conditions, like the light in the room, the space itself, really affect the image's ability or way of appearing. And because of that, someone looking at them has a sort of way to notice the what's normally really peripheral or sort of considered unimportant background somehow begins to appear with the image itself.